We're live back here at 6sense Breakthrough. I'm speaking with Saima Rashid. You are the SVP of Marketing and Revenue Analytics here at 6sense. Hi.
Hi. I know, it's very meta. I'm so excited that you're here at Breakthrough. How are you enjoying it?
I'm loving it so far. I'm meeting so many great people, having so many great conversations like yourself. This has been an absolute phenomenal experience, and I'm really grateful to be here.
Well, that is literally the point of Breakthrough. We're so passionate about our customers and our community and facilitating learning and making sure that, everyone who is on this forefront of the RevTech revolution, these difference makers that are optimizing the way they're going to market, what better way than, to get all of them together in one place, have them learn from each other, have them share what's working, and, have a whole lot of fun doing it.
Yeah. And this is literally like your event. I mean, you spearhead the whole team and department that puts this together. I know you have people that are into the logistics and the details, but like, holy crap, this is amazing.
Yeah, it's a big event. I mean, it's grown exponentially year over year. We spend a lot of time curating the content, the tracks, the submission process for speakers. We get so many submissions, which is a fantastic place to be in. And so we really try and curate an agenda that will work for sellers, marketers, operations professionals, BDR leaders. I mean, it is all about, going deep where it makes sense, but then also up-leveling kind of some of those strategic initiatives that everyone should be thinking about.
Yeah, and I've always been a huge fangirl of 6sense. I've used the platform multiple times with my clients, and I know you were a fangirl because you were a customer of 6sense prior to actually joining at the company. Talk to me about your experience before you joined and all those great insights that made you want to join 6sense.
Yeah, I was a customer, and I still have been a customer longer than I've been at 6sense. So my whole goal of bringing 6sense on board to my previous employer was I am actually a data analytics and operations person. My entire career, I've let data inform what we're doing. I've built and led analytics teams. I owned data science at this previous company. And we just recognized that the way we were going to market in terms of trying to get and create pipeline, convert it into revenue, the old playbook wasn't working. But goals were increasing. Marketing was being asked to source more and more pipeline. And we knew we needed a different way. And so, of course, the data had to inform it. And I evaluated all the vendors out there, 6sense's data-first approach, and the fact that it was not an advertising platform or, something. It was a platform that was built on data and AI. The predictions, the scores were data-led. They were rooted in your patterns of success. Your closed-won opportunities were what were driving, where it was prioritizing accounts. That spoke to me, and I had a hugely successful implementation. We won Forrester's Program of the Year in 2020 for just, the way we were able to stand up the program and impact revenue and pipeline. And so about 5 years of doing that, I was like, I just need to go and work for them because I'm such a believer in what the product is and what the platform does.
I love that. What was the first thing you did when you joined 6sense? I mean, every leader has kind of like a 30, 60, 90 vision. What were some of the top priorities for you?
Yeah, I was actually hired, interestingly, to build out the revenue analytics team. And so my goal was, because of that, being able to run 6sense for 6sense, so taking some of the learnings I had, but also as being that target persona, informing the product roadmap on where I felt as a customer we needed to be going. So that was actually some of my initial first conversations. This
awesome.
is the type of reporting we need. This is the type of, if you could edit the UI, if you could allow for certain things to be exported, it would make our life so much easier. That was a really fun part. And then about a year and a half into the role, I was given all of marketing as well. And so that's been an interesting transition, particularly as somebody who comes from the data and analytics world to be leading marketing. There's things that I'm really good at, and there's things that I haven't had the experience running before. And so those sorts of things really excite me. I like jumping into something that might be new for me, and I have an incredible team that, supports me in all of it.
That's really awesome. When you've been advocating and championed 6sense for 6sense, where do you guys go specifically to look at the type of revenue analytics? Do you look in 6sense platform, maybe in like a Salesforce? I mean, let's get nitty gritty with
Yeah, all of the above. We have a pretty standard framework. There's source of truth for pipeline and revenue is our CRM. I think that's the case with most companies. If it isn't in Salesforce, it doesn't exist. And I would hate for marketing to have a different set of metrics than sales, for example, right? Our goal is not marketing source pipeline versus sales. It is the pipeline goal. And as the head of marketing, I own all pipeline, whether it's from marketing or not. And so CRM is the source of truth for that. But there's so many leading indicators that we need to be looking at in terms of what's working to drive pipeline. What type of programs should we be investing in? Where should we move our budget and dollars? Because let's be honest, everyone's budget is finite and we have to be optimizing it. And 6sense reporting really helps with those leading indicators. Which campaigns are helping accounts progress into higher intent stages? Which advertising campaigns or copy or types of ads, or which mix of physical events versus digital events. There's segment performance reports in 6sense that basically you can take your ICP and see where they are in their intent stages today and how they're progressing, and then specifically which tactics have helped them progress. And so that's really, really important for us as we look at the leading indicators. And then on the flip side, after deals are closed won, we still go back into 6sense and say, what were all the things that helped push those deals to a successful outcome? What keywords were our most recent, booked deals researching? What web pages were resonating? Which campaigns worked, right? It's a really great way for us to understand the winning patterns and then go back and implement more of them.
So if I can ask for an exclusive insight, what are some of the campaigns you guys are running leveraging the 6sense platform?
So we do ABM at scale. And so we have existing always on campaigns that their goal is to ensure we are getting in front of our ICP, even when they're just starting to do their, research. Early stages, we have campaigns that are always on, but we have touch points throughout that journey. So an interesting place where we're investing is accelerator campaigns. They continuously are one of our top performing campaigns where existing open opportunities that might be stalled or might not be progressing as quickly as we'd like, marketing should be doing air cover over them, right? And that's, persona-based air cover, and we can execute those through the 6sense platform.
I wholeheartedly agree. I've run some of those pipeline accelerator campaigns, 6sense and a couple other channels too, but that is very easy, low-hanging fruit that marketing could just pick up and really just continue on the journey.
And again, I look at a lot of data, and it is getting harder and harder to create pipeline and then progress it. You're having to influence more people than ever before. They are expecting a personalized experience. They are requiring more touch points than ever before. And so how do you scale without scaling your headcount or your budget? You do that through automating additional, touch points and campaigns, and marketing has a huge role to play.
Yeah, and I actually interviewed Kerry Cunningham right before this.
Oh, good.
And he was talking about how the theme of the buyer's experience report was buyers will call you and don't call me.
Yes.
And I thought that was so interesting.
And it's kind of, again, taking that research and putting it into a practical, outcome. That means you can't just be running plays further down funnel. You have to be thinking of the whole brand to demand experience. It has to start from the very top of identifying your ICP and making sure that whatever point they are in the journey, they know about you. And so that's why I said, we start our funnel with those very top of funnel awareness accounts, because we want to make sure we're always in front of them. And so if you're only thinking of either top of funnel or bottom funnel, I think you're missing, that overall journey. And everyone really should be thinking about the overall brand to demand experience.
Yeah, full funnel, holistic marketing, generating campaigns, demand gen, whatever you want to call it, right? Because that's a whole nother topic. But the key theme that I'm hearing from you right now that you're implementing with your team is all about experiences and really understanding the touch points of those experiences from the very beginning of somebody never have heard of or just starting the research process with you all the way down pipeline, as well as the customer side of the journey. So I think that's really interesting. A common question right now is demand gen turning into a one-to-many for ABM? And what's the interchangeable acronyms or jargon from ABM to ABX? What are your 2 cents?
I think ABM to ABX, I think the ABM tag, I know it's stuck, but it's it is not telling the full story, right? It's saying that only marketing is doing the account-based approach. You need sales to be bought in. You need that inside sales team, the BDR team to be bought in. And frankly, you also need CS to be bought in, especially if you want to land and expand those. So ABX, I feel, is a more holistic term, and I prefer it, but, we'll say ABM too. And so
they're not interchangeable, not to cut you off, but like, let's make a point.
I feel like they are not. I think we're not telling the whole story when we just limit ourselves to ABM. But yeah, I think demand gen programs need to be running across the board. I own customer marketing as well at 6sense, and we should have an upsell goal. We should be influencing upsell pipeline, right? And so we should be running campaigns throughout that life cycle. And we haven't hit on this yet, which is shocking, but AI, is really the one way we've been able to help scale the demands of the market, frankly, to be, they're getting a personalized experience in their day-to-day lives on the B2C side of things, right? They're demanding that on the B2B side as well. And so AI has really helped us scale those programs.
Well, let's talk about that. In what ways?
Well, we have, 6sense is a company built on AI. 11 years ago, we started with our predictive analytics platform, and then, we've expanded that to prescriptive, descriptive, and then 3 years ago, we launched our generative AI product, conversational email. That's been a game changer for us. This past quarter, 25% of our new biz pipeline was generated autonomously using AI. If you had told me that 6 months ago even, I wouldn't have believed it. So it's kind of impossible to overstate how important that is in our mix. And so whether it's something like augmenting what the BDRs are doing, right? Making sure that even an inbound that comes in is worked in a timely fashion. Carrie mentioned this, when buyers are ready to reach out to you, they demand that you get in front of them immediately. AI can help with that, right? Let's take the repetitive tasks off of the plates of the BDRs, things like follow-up to webinars, things like, doing that initial outreach, and let's get the BDRs selling more. And so augmenting, I think, AI plus the human touch is really what's helped us, have those great results.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I've seen that, like, actually in the field with the clients that I've worked with, how that can help alleviate a lot of the repetitive tasks. And in season 1 of Demand Gen Made Simple, I actually had Latney on the podcast talking. She was fangirling and raving about generative AI and the capabilities that you guys recently launched and how that was helping to get time back for the BDRs. And I thought that was absolutely phenomenal. So just seeing the evolution from 3 years ago, like you mentioned, when you guys were first creating it, all the way through the having it being adopted into the industry and further integrated with your guys' own tech stack as well as in the market. I've enjoyed seeing that evolution.
Yeah, and I think, not all AI is created equal. And in today's generative AI world, context matters, right? Everyone's pulling from the same LLMs. And so all of a sudden, all the outreach, all the blog posts are kind of starting to sound the same. By using AI on top of what the data is that 6sense provides, that gives you the context of this account is early stage versus late stage. This account is researching those keywords. This account has anonymously been on your website. That's what really then powers the right type of automation that makes it hyper-personalized.
Now, I'm going to take a step back for a little bit because this is Demand Gen Made Simple, and I'm on a mission to break down all jargon and acronyms. So you mentioned LLM. Can we define that?
Yeah, it's the large language models that, a lot of the AI tools today are pulling from. OpenAI, Anthropic, Gemini, things like that.
Yeah, just want to make sure for the audience of like, we're stripping away all acronyms, we're getting tactical, we're talking about things as it is, so I love it. What are some, as we are approaching 2025, we're in the planning, budget, all that great conversations, what are some like top campaigns that you would recommend for companies to deploy if they're not already, as they look to onboard to get started with 6sense?
Yeah, I like to go right back to the basics. I think depending on what works for you in your industry, in your, in your day-to-day reality, I think we need to drive focus. And that is really what ABM or ABX is at the end of the day. Whatever acronym you use, it is about having the entire go-to-market team focus on the most winnable accounts. That's it. And so regardless of whether you're doing a top-of-funnel campaign, a commercial accelerator, like we just spoke about, start with your ICP. Let's not waste budget we don't have on accounts that aren't going to be great customers. And so I always start with honing in and refining your ICP, not just with that initial land criteria of, these types of companies are great buyers, we want great customers. And so use that retention data to also inform your ICP, right? What are the best customers you have? What do they look like? Then let's make sure we go out and find more of them, and we go after them both on the awareness consideration phase as well as progressing them through the funnel, and then even on the customer marketing side. So I think the mix is very dependent on what works for you, but always start with that focused approach.
I love that. Let's pivot a little bit more because you obviously lead a marketing team, and I just want to pick your brain more on some leadership qualities that you have. I've enjoyed this conversation. I'm like a huge fangirl, you know that. What are some ways?
As am I.
Oh, no, don't say that. I appreciate you. What are some ways that you continue motivating your team on a day in and day out?
Yeah, I think you have to foster a culture of innovation. If we've done something once, let's lean in if it's continuing to work, but we can't rest on our laurels. We've got to always be pushing it. And I think some of that comes from the fact that we run 6sense for 6sense. Mm-hmm. We're the persona that we sell to, so we know what the market needs, what the persona needs. We inform the product roadmap. And so we get access to the earliest, alpha features. And my goal with the team is always, what next? How do we make it better? How do we, even beat our goals from last quarter? And I think that's a culture that we foster. And it's not like we're putting unrealistic goals out there, by the way. It really is about, allowing for a culture of experimentation. That's not to say that we're going to throw a ton of money on something just to test it out, but let's do informed experimentation. Let's push the boundaries. Even as we talked about our evolution with AI, we didn't start out with putting everything through our conversational email tool, right? We started off with one use case. We built up, that confidence. Okay, here's another one. And so it's an iterative approach. I think because of my analytics background, it's always about experimentation, but with measurement in place, so that when you are finding something that works or doesn't work, you're able to quickly pivot.
Yeah, that's such a great point. We're running out of time together, so I have one final question for you. Yeah. What is the final thought that you want to leave for demand gen marketers and go-to-market leaders for 2025?
The best marketers and the best, I think, just whether you're in any place in go-to-market, be a difference maker. Innovate, push yourself, challenge the status quo. What is working today, I promise you, is not what's going to work tomorrow. And so the best leaders on my team, the best employees, the best team members are the ones that are just always looking for what's next. Companies don't grow and innovate without those difference makers, and so lean into it. And hopefully, most other marketing teams are fostering that culture. I'm a huge believer in it. Give people give them the permission to think beyond what is, their role, maybe the box that the role is in today, and it has always yielded great results.
I love that. Saima, this has been an absolute pleasure having this conversation with you. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Demand Gen Made Simple show. If you found value in today's episode, please consider leaving a review, as it really helps me reach more people just like you. And make sure to subscribe so you can be notified when the next episode drops. Thank you, and see you next time.